Hello friends, it's Shan here. Welcome back to Golf with Shan. In today's video, my mom and I are going on a 12-day Mediterranean cruise with Celebrity Cruises. We are currently on the Celebrity Ascent cruise ship. This is a brand new boat. It's less than a year old. The interiors are super modern and there's just so much to do on this cruise. This video is absolutely not sponsored. We paid out of pocket. I'm going to give you guys the honest breakdown of my experience. I do have pretty high hopes. I do sometimes get seasick, so fingers crossed that's not too bad. The waters seem pretty calm in this part of the world. But aside from that, I am so excited. This is a 12-day cruise. We're going to stop in Spain, France, and Italy, and you guys are going to see everything that we get up to on the boat as well as off the boat. We do have a few excursions booked. As usual, timestamps will be linked down below in the description section so you can reference any part of this video. I'm going to split it up by the days on the cruise. So day 1, day 2, day 3 with a short description of what we got up to that day in case you want to reference any part specifically, because this is probably going to be a long video. It is currently 11 p.m. and I am finally in our stateroom and have a moment to just sit down and speak to you guys. Today has been so busy and so exciting. Before we get into all of that, I want to just rewind and walk you guys through our first day, because I think this is going to be super important if you want to get on this cruise. So first thing is flying to Barcelona. This cruise leaves in Barcelona and ends back in Barcelona. So we actually flew in on a direct flight from Toronto to Barcelona this morning at 10 a.m. Some people do recommend you land a day ahead just in case your flight gets canceled or something happens, and you can get on the next flight and still make the cruise. On our flight from Toronto to Barcelona, we heard a lot of people talking about going on this exact cruise, Celebrity Ascent. There is a direct flight, which is the good news if you're from Toronto. So we landed at the airport at about 10 a.m. and the next thing we did was get an eSIM. An eSIM cost us about 35 euros and it gave us more than enough gigabytes of data to use throughout this trip. But I will say Wi-Fi on the ship is very convenient because you don't get good service in a lot of places. So for example, in my room, I have no service with the SIM card, but I do have Wi-Fi. We landed at the airport, got an eSIM. The next thing to do was to book a taxi to the ship. I booked a taxi through the Uber app. I actually tried to book an Uber and it said it was too busy. I tried a couple times and Uber just didn't work, but you can book a taxi on the Uber app and it was around 45 euros from the airport to the cruise ship. Now, if you think that's too expensive or you have other plans, comment down below so other people can know, but this is what we did. So now that we have our taxi booked via the Uber app, it was about a 25-minute drive to the cruise ship. And then once we got to the cruise ships, it's very obvious. You get there and you see these giant floating cities. You're in the right spot, and all the cruise ships have giant logos on the ship, so you know exactly which one you're going on. Your cruise booking will also tell you exactly where you need to go. And then once you get there, if you have checked luggage, then you have to put them in a separate area with your baggage tags that they give you ahead of time, and then they'll bring those to your room. But my mom and I didn't have any checked luggage, so we just had our carry-on suitcase and we got in line. They scanned our cruise boarding passes, I swear, 3 to 4 times. So there is almost no way you are getting on the wrong boat, okay? Because they check and double check and triple check, and then when you get on the boat, they check one more time just to make sure you are actually supposed to be on this cruise. So that's the good thing. Make sure you have your boarding passes either printed out if you're more old school, or have it on your phone, either as a photo that they can scan the QR code or in the Celebrity Cruises app. Highly recommend just downloading the app. It's really convenient and you can do everything on your phone. At around 1 p.m., we were on the boat and in our room. So we booked an inside stateroom and I didn't get a choice on which room we got. And then we got here and realized that they gave us an accessible room. So we actually have a little more room in our room. We have a little more space in our room, and then we have a bigger bathroom. Now, I want to be clear, I didn't intentionally book an accessible room. It was just, I didn't get to choose a room. My assumption is that the people who needed accessible rooms have already booked the room, and they were like, we'll just give this one out because we booked kind of last minute. The other rooms, I'm gonna assume if you're gonna book an inside stateroom, is gonna be a little bit smaller, but in general, celebrity cruises have very nice rooms. They're more spacious than a lot of other cruises, so that is definitely a plus. We then continued to explore the ship, checked out the pool decks, checked out the upstairs. There is a track where you can walk. There's a lot of activity rooms, lots of different restaurants. We checked out the buffet, which is absolutely massive. And then by dinner time, people are going off to dinner and all the activities start. So during the day, you can do some shopping if you want, but then in the evenings, you're gonna have dinner, and then make sure your evenings are free because that's when all the game shows, the game activities, karaoke, disco night, theater, everything is happening in the evening, and it's just so much fun. And yes, there is a casino. I personally don't go to casinos, but there is a casino if that's your thing. I feel like I've been rambling on, so I'm gonna wrap it up for day one. This was our first day on the cruise. I am incredibly excited for what's to come. And yeah, you guys are gonna see everything that we get up to. Good morning. It is day 2 on the Celebrity Ascent. Today is an at-sea day, which means there's no port stops. We're just going to be chilling on the boat all day. Right now, I am just getting dressed to go to the gym. I want to get a quick workout in, go grab some breakfast. Another thing with these inside staterooms is because there's no window or balcony, it is impossible to tell what time of the day it is. So if you have all the lights out, it's pitch dark in here. It could be 3 a.m. in the morning, it could be 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So make sure to set yourself an alarm so you know to wake up. Every evening the night before, they give you the itinerary of the next day. So this kind of looks like a newspaper article with the highlights of the next day, and then inside it has all the activities broken down by like every 15 minutes. There is so much to do on a cruise. Today's show is Bridges. I'm definitely gonna go check it out at the theater. Back from the gym. I'm about to go take a shower, and then we'll get some food, and then we'll head out to the talk about Gibraltar. Now, a quick thing about the fitness center, it is located inside the spa, which is very smart marketing, but you do have to walk through the spa and then go up the stairs, and you'll see the gym upstairs. The gym has a whole thing of endurance equipment, so everything from treadmills to ellipticals and bikes, and it's going to be right along the water, so it's beautiful. I'm like running and just staring into the distance. It's super calming and kind of meditative.
Now this is the only place in Europe that you can see monkeys in the wild.
Right step together, and we repeat. Left step. Forward and back again. Forward, turn, together. Yeah?
Back to the room for day 2. This is the end of day 2. Highlight of today is definitely the Bridges show and the salsa class. The salsa class is actually taught by 2 of the dancers that are in the Bridges show, so very smart marketing for them. Earlier in the day, we get to meet 2 of the dancers, and then we get to see them perform later in the evening. So incredible. All the singers and all the performers are just so talented. Highly recommend. If you're on the trip, you have to check it out. They did have 2 showings today, so So if you couldn't make the 7:30, you could go to the 9:30. And at the beginning of the show, the captain actually came out, introduced himself, and introduced the executive squad. So it was really cool to at least, you know, see them introduce themselves in person. The captain's really funny. I low-key think he has a side hustle as a stand-up comedian. Just the way he like delivered his intro and the jokes. I watched a lot of stand-up comedy. But anyways, very funny, really nice to meet him, and also the cast for the theater. Tomorrow is our first port stop. We are going to be stopping in Cadiz, and from there I actually booked us a transportation from Cadiz to Sevilla. So we are going to be going to the city of Sevilla. Some people are just kind of staying at the port, but if you book an excursion, they're going to send you this letter and you'll see it right at your door. So right before this letter will have our tickets in it. I'm not going to show you the details because it has like my mom and my information on it. And on here, it tells you the meeting location, meeting time, and just all the things you need to know. So make sure you keep these handy, keep them on your desk so you don't misplace them somewhere in the room. It's very important. With that, I'm going to say good night because I am very tired, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow to go to one of my favorite places in the whole world. Morning, it's day 3 and we are closing in on Cadiz. Just had some breakfast at the buffet, and then now I'm gonna go back to the room, grab my sunglasses, grab a couple other things, and then we'll head over to the theater. That's where we are going to meet for the excursion. So like I said last night, the excursion I booked is basically just transportation. They have some excursions that they provide a guide and they kind of walk you through the city. I'm just gonna walk my mom through the city because I lived in Sevilla for 5 months. So let's go. In Sevilla. Our bus dropped us off at the main area where all the tourist attractions are, but we're actually going to make the 15-minute walk over to see Las Setas, which is the mushrooms. Yeah, this is the main area. This is the main cathedral. Right here, we're going to come back to all of this. Alright, so this structure is called Las Setas. It's about a 15 to 17 minute walk from the main area where the cathedral is. And Las Setas means mushrooms, as you can kind of see. Now I remember this being pretty controversial because in order to build this structure, they had to take out a few very grandfathered old trees in the area, and the locals were not very happy about it. But in exchange, we have this really cool structure for us tourists, but I totally understand. As a tourist, it's really pretty, really cool to check out. You can climb up to the top. It's very affordable to go up. I remember it was like 3 to 5 euros or something. And then at the top you can get a glass of wine and you can see basically the entire city. And because this is slightly out from the main area, from the top here you can get a nice bird's eye view of the main area. So if you have more time, highly recommend. If you're going on this cruise, you're not going to have very much time here. Just got back to the main area. We are going to see the Giralda and then the cathedral all together. The cathedral used to be a mosque and then the Catholics built over it. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A cool thing about the bell tower, which is called the Giralda, that used to be the minaret of the mosque when this was a mosque. One more thing about the Giralda Tower, we don't have time today to go up it, but you can definitely climb up if you're like physically able to. It's not stairs, it's actually all ramps inside that just wrap around in circles until you get to the top of the bell tower. And I think the reasoning for that was they used to have a donkey or something that would help the person go up to ring the bell for prayer time. Correct me if I'm wrong though. It is pretty easy to go up, but you are climbing uphill. So if you can go up a few flights of stairs, then you should be good to go. A lot of the smaller, rounder trees that you see are actually orange trees. It's not season right now, but when it's in season, the trees are full of oranges. I recommend not eating them because apparently they're very sour, and they do use the oranges for other products, but not just to like eat. so excited. I am literally jumping for joy. On the other side of the river is Triana, which is a really interesting little neighborhood, and it's actually the birthplace of flamenco. Back to the ship. I love Sevilla. I love it. I'm gonna be back. Mom approves. And we are heading back out to explore Cadiz. So Cadiz is a little beach town, and from what I remember, people in Sevilla would come here for long weekends and holidays with the family, and they would all just come and hang out by the beach. It's a really chill little city. It's super cool. So yeah, we're headed back out. We're gonna go check out the cathedral, and then my mom wants to go shopping for some sundresses. So we're gonna check out this little area, but you will see us walking towards the water as well. It's actually a really cool little city. As much as I love Sevilla and definitely recommend, if you're doing this cruise, to book an excursion and go to Sevilla, and then when you come back, you'll still have time to explore Cadiz. It's super small. You can walk all of this in an hour. Okay, let's go. We are in Gibraltar today. We just grabbed breakfast at Cosmopolitan. It's one of the 4 restaurants that are included in your package. They usually serve dinner, but this is the one restaurant, Cosmopolitan, and they serve breakfast. So you can order from the menu. My mom and I each got an omelet. The only thing is, service is a little bit slow, so if you are in a rush, highly recommend just going to the buffet, grab your own food, eat, and head off the ship. If you have some time, like today at Gibraltar, we have some time, we're kind of just docked. I'm gonna go climb the rock, so I'm wearing some athletic clothes. I'm gonna change the purse out for my crossbody. Just gotta be careful of the monkeys. No dangly earrings, no loose clothing, no food that they can just snatch out of your hand. Let's go see Gibraltar. We took the shuttle. You can definitely walk into town. It's not that far. I would say like 25 minutes. But if you do want to walk up the rock, then maybe save yourself the trip of walking into town. I don't know why there's nobody here. I did ask one of the locals though. I was like, I want to go up the rock, like where can I go buy tickets? He's like, just go down the street, turn left, you'll see a sign. And then we ended up on a small street, and now I'm seeing these signs that say, you know, Gibraltar Nature Reserve, Upper Rock, walk this way. So now we're walking in this really interesting little neighborhood. I'll show you guys. Like, someone's home. And up there's my mom. How cool is that? And this is the path we came up those stairs. And now let's continue walking. We're gonna continue up those little stairs, I guess. Right off the boat, There were a few people saying like cable car is closed. The only way you can get up the rock is with us. And from what I've learned from traveling, that tends to be a scam where they tell you things are closed, and the only way you can go up to this tourist attraction is by booking a tour with us. Don't fall for those. I'm not sure, I feel like we're walking through a residential area. Now we are going up this side street. I'm gonna walk to the side. Already sweating, I sound a little bit out of breath. Oh, look at the water. At the Moorish Castle, which is right here, they actually have a gateway that stops you from climbing unless you buy a ticket. And I think this ticket gets you into all the things that are along the way up the rock. So that includes the caves, which I did want to check out. It was £19 per person, £38 for the two of us, my mom and I. Convert that to your local currency. They do take Visa, they take British pounds here, and I believe they take euros as well. Credit card is the way to go when you're traveling. Also from here, you can see our boat. It's right there. The good thing is, at least today, it's quite the climb. It's pretty steep uphill, but it's really breezy up here. Like there's a lot of wind, and as you get higher up in the altitude, it's not as hot, but also luckily we have this massive cloud covering the sun, so it's actually a really good day to climb up. You book the buses that come up, they stop here. This is the lookout point right next to the entrance for the Great Siege. And then over there you can see Spain. It's definitely not for beginners or for anyone that has, you know, knee pain, hip pain, any kind of thing like that. I would recommend getting the cable car or taking one of the tours. They'll drive you to all the lookout points and kind of explain the history of everything. So we can get a view with the horizon as the parallel line. It's about a 35-degree incline. I was not prepared for how steep this was gonna be. Look at how far we've come already. We were down there. We just saw the cable car top station. It is there. Almost made it. We've climbed all the way to the top. The monkeys are adorable. Don't have food. If you have a backpack, put it in the front. We saw a monkey jump on a guy's back and try to unzip his backpack. They are very smart. They know how to work zippers. I mean, obviously don't try to intimidate them. They won't intimidate you. They're pretty chill. Unless you react and you get really scared and scream, then they're also gonna react because they are, you know, animals. We are on our way to go see St. Michael's Cave, the very famous, picturesque cave. The way we went, which was that side, going past the Moorish Castle and the Great Siege, and then going up this side, you'll go straight to the St. Michael's, and then you can also walk your way up to the top. So you can go either way. The way we went seems to be the less popular way. It seems the Ape's Den path, so there's gonna be monkeys you can see on the ground here. This is probably the more recommended route, unless you really want to go see that side. The cool thing about that side is there is a lookout point where you can see the airport with the runway, and then that one road that cuts across the airport runway. They have to close that road when airplanes come in. So that's pretty interesting. Either way, you know, you see different things. We've arrived at the bridge. And we're on. done here. And we're back to civilization. Wow. Smoke and Ivories, remember that name? That show, must watch 1000%. So far, it's my favorite show that I have watched on this cruise, and there have been a lot of events, but this one is a must attend, I'm telling you. And it's so popular. If the show starts, so for us, the show started, there was one session at 8:30 and one at 10:30. You have to go at least 20 minutes earlier. So I would recommend half an hour earlier, just go in and try to find a seat that gives you a good view of the stage, and then sit down and mark your spot, okay? Because if you go 15 minutes before the show starts, there will be no seats. I went for the 10:30 session. The 8:30 session, there was no chance. It was packed to the brim. The 10:30 session, I still had a chance to sit down. I went in about 20 minutes early and there were like 3 seats left. It's a lot of live singing, live dancing, amazing jazz pianists, tap dancing, acrobatics, just everything in a very cool kind of enclosed environment. The dancers are coming from all directions. It was just awesome. I can't believe it is already the end of day 4 on this cruise. Gibraltar was absolutely amazing. Climbing the rock was a bit of a physical challenge. We saw a lot of people sweating and panting on their way up. Totally understandable. I would recommend though taking the cable car up if you don't want to walk too much, because it is a lot of walking uphill. The city center of Gibraltar is actually really cool. It's got a few main streets where you can do a lot of shopping. If you are needing some sunscreen or better shampoo or anything like that, you can get it from the pharmacy. And then also, this is a tax and duty free location. So if you want to buy perfumes, alcohol, tobacco, anything like that, Gibraltar is a good spot. For Canadians out there, the exchange rate may not make it that much cheaper to shop here. But if you're American or if you're British, using euros, pounds, and USD and that kind of conversion, it's going to feel cheaper for you because you're saving on tax and duties at least. And you will see a lot of the British brands there. It kind of feels like the UK, except there's a lot of hills and the weather's much better, and it's attached to Spain. But aside from that, they do have the British flag everywhere, the Union Jack, they do have the red phone booths, and they have a lot of British food. Some of it, they've tweaked it slightly to call it Gibraltar food, but it's basically just UK food. That brings us to the end of day 4. I'm gonna get ready for bed. Tomorrow we are going to Malaga, and I did book an excursion for us to go see Marbella and Puerto. I just really wanted to see those 2 places, so that's why. I'm still very hyped from that show, but I will try to get some sleep. Good night! And we're off again. Today we are in Malaga, starting off day 5 on an excursion. We're going to Marbella and Puerto. It's going to be quite a long ride, I think about an hour. And then we will explore the beautiful and bougie part of Spain. This is, I believe, officially the Costa del Sol, which is the Sun Coast. For my golf viewers, there's a lot of golf courses there. I think very few under 300 euros. We're not golfing today, but I did want to check out the area because people just keep talking about Marbella, you know? And I have to go check it out myself. There's our ship, Celebrity Ascent, and we're off.
Now we're going to be driving through the Park of Mar. This beautiful botanical garden with more than 5,000 tropical and subtropical plants. On the right, and the third building used to be the post office. Today is a building from the University of Malaga. Right here on the right hand side you have the main street with buildings from the beginning of the 20th century.
We have a little bit of free time now. We just had a walking tour with our excursion. All of these statues are Salvatore Dali statues and they go straight down to the waterfront. I'm so excited. The Old Town part, very cool, lots of narrow streets, and she was saying it's all painted white or marble. The light color is because it's just so freaking hot here sometimes. White obviously will reflect the light and it's not going to be as hot, and the narrow streets are for multiple purposes, but one is so the floor, the ground level is not going to get as hot because there's a lot of shelter from the walls. Being high and narrow, sunshine doesn't hit the ground as much. And then the other thing is the twisty roads. If there's an attack via horse back in the day, it's easier for people to run and hide and harder for the horses to attack. And then similar to Sevilla, the main cathedral here was also a mosque first, and then the Catholics built on top of the mosque. They also have the orange trees to a smaller degree than Sevilla. Sevilla is like very grand in terms of the cathedral, the orange garden, the plaza and all of that. Here is more toned down, but mostly you're here to see the water. So let's go check it out. Gotta be a little bit more careful on the waterfront. Lots of selling of counterfeit goods.
Lighthouse is Muelle 1, deck number 1. We have a lot of restaurants and shops and everything.
Good morning. It is officially day 6 on the cruise. We stayed up a bit late yesterday with a party on the rooftop or on the pool deck. It was so much fun, so much fun. So today got up a little bit later, got myself a chai tea latte and almond croissant.
The city expanded its territory through warfare and alliances.
Just finished the show, Awaken. So good. The theater cast is honestly amazing. I recommend going to the shows every single night. Right now, I just came back to the room. This is the first day. We're on day 6, I think. This is the first day where I felt a little bit seasick, a little motion sickness. From looking outside, it seems the waters are just a little bit more wavy today. If you are like me, I recommend bringing gravel with you. And then I also have demenhydrinate tablets. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to put it on the screen here. I believe that is what's recommended for seasickness, for motion sickness in general. And I just got the generic Life brand. And then I have some ginger gravel tablets that I'll take kind of on the go because I don't want to have too many of these. I'm just going to take one now, see how I feel in a couple hours, and then we'll go from there. Hello, bonjour. We are in Nice, France today. It is a tender, so I'm just getting something from the room and then we have to go get our tender tickets. And then we're gonna actually go to Villefranche and then take a Uber to actual Nice downtown. Tickets. We are on the Promenade du Anglais, walking towards the Fine Arts Museum. There's a lot of locals running right now. It is 9:50 in the morning. It's kind of rainy, but still beautiful. It's a pretty cool, very small museum. I would recommend it if you are at all interested in Impressionism. They do have a few Monet and Renoir paintings in there and a few others that are really cool. There's a private collection right now on display and then they have their permanent collection, but it's a very small museum. If you have a student pass, bring that, you'll get a discount. I don't know how much exactly, it might be free actually, but for adults it's 12 euros, or you can get the 15-euro version and go to all the museums in Nice. It was really cool. I liked it. It is quite small though. If you think of like French art museums, they're usually pretty grand. This is like a house that was turned into a museum. Well, I just went into a hotel to ask if there's any way we can go up to Chapel Hill today, and the answer is no, they closed it due to weather. So keep that in mind if you are coming to Nice and it's a rainy day. It's possible they'll close all of Chapel Hill. Every single entrance point is locked. Everybody coming back early to shower and dry off.
All right, let me start this off. Let me get it going because I don't have much time because you guys haven't eaten. My name is Derek Cameron and I am a stand-up comedian.
On our way to Florence, we drove past the town of Carrara, famous for the Carrara marble, which you can see in the white parts of the mountain. Also, please excuse my attempt at pronouncing Italian names. Good morning. It is day 8 on our cruise. I didn't film this morning because we woke up at like 6 a.m. Bus left at 7:30. So now I've taken a nap. We are on our way to Florence or Firenze. Our boat docked in La Spezia today. I did book us a tour, so we have our excursion bus that's going to drive us straight to Florence, and we're going to have a little walking tour, and then we'll have time to explore on our own. On the way there, we're stopping at this leather factory. They have a lot of cool leather goods in there. I'm not really shopping for anything, but there is also a nice toilet here if you want to make a stop. So yeah, let's get back on the bus and we are on our way to Florence. Made it to Florence. We had an incredible guide for this excursion. Shout out to Valentina. Our meeting point is this gold shop. You can purchase gold jewelry here. It's based on the weight, and then they use the market price for gold. So maybe now's not a good time. As we continued, she explained the importance of the Medici family in Italy and especially here in Florence. You can actually see their family crest all over the city, as well as sneak peeks into their homes. We walked past the Galileo Museum and made our way to the famous bridge, the Ponte Vecchio, with many shops. Allegedly, most of the jewelry shops on the bridge are the same owner and are priced higher than the shops off the bridge, so keep that in mind. Now we are at the square outside the Palazzo Vecchio, the town hall of Florence. There are lots of important statues in this square, including David, Hercules, Perseus with the head of Medusa, and the equestrian statue of Cosimo I of Medici. And here we are at the prized possession, the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore. This is the Florence Cathedral. Remember when we passed the town of Carrara on the way? The beautiful white facade of this cathedral was built using the marble from Carrara. So we saw a local woman sitting by the basilica eating these sandwiches that looked absolutely delicious, and then I just walked up to her and was like, where did you get that? She didn't speak English, but she pointed me to this stall in the middle of the market, and it's this like local lady. We saw a couple locals come by and just like get their usual. I have the beef one, and then we also got the beef stomach one. I'm assuming a lot of you watching will probably prefer the straight beef one. So you guys know, whenever I go anywhere in the world, I love street food, as long as it's safe. These are delicious. And honestly, the one my mom got with the stomach is flavor-wise better than the one that's straight beef, but I know a lot of you are maybe a little bit scared to eat intestines, but the stomach one is actually really good. We do have a couple more days in Italy, and we have a Tuscany farmhouse tour booked for tomorrow, and then we are going to Cinque Terre, where apparently there's really good pesto, and I'm gonna get gelato today. So don't worry, I am gonna eat, you know, the pizza pasta. After finishing our sandwiches on the steps outside the Basilica di San Lorenzo, we beelined through the crowd of people trying to enter the cathedral and went straight to gelato. We walked past this place on our walking tour, and the chocolate wall caught my attention. I had to go back. We're here at the farmhouse. The bus ride took 2 hours, so be prepared for that.
And olive oil, olio extravergine di oliva, our production.
All right, honest review, because I've so far enjoyed all of our excursions, but now that I am one limoncello shot down and one plastic cup of wine down, I'm gonna let you know my true honest opinion about this excursion. So we booked the farmhouse experience. We thought it was gonna be a little bit more intimate. Actually, everyone thought it was gonna be a little bit more intimate, but when you get here, it feels like they are funneling tour buses in, which is fine, but it was kind of an expensive tour, and they only had like one slice of salami and cheese for each person, and then it was just like that plate of pasta you saw for our whole table, and you could see like 12 other tables here. Everything was served on plastic plates. I don't know, I think this is an absolutely beautiful estate. They have 200 acres here. The food, the truffle honey, so delicious. The pesto is absolutely delicious. You can try it at the shop. The pasta, amazing, so good. But just saying, like, if you're paying for this experience, you can get similar food in other places. And we were on the bus for 2 hours, which means another 2 hours back. And then we kind of got here and it felt like we were just, it's a well-run business here for sure. So far with all the other excursions, tour guides have been absolutely amazing. It's so great to actually walk through a city and then have it explained to you, so you're not just looking at cool buildings and have no idea any history. In general, I would recommend the excursions. I would say next time, if I knew about this excursion, I would pass on this one. Oh, and one more thing, the horse-drawn carriage. In the description, they made this sound so scenic. You're gonna get antipasti with the horse-drawn carriage, but it's actually just one carriage for your entire bus, and we are all just squished into the back. Now that you know the information, judge for yourself. Yeah, before we head back onto the bus and sit for another 2 hours, I'm going to try to remember this view. Walking around the corner from where we sat, I see group tables of people with real wine glasses. It's possible that if you book a smaller tour, I think maybe like not with the cruise on a bus of 30 people, that you'll get a much more intimate experience with proper cutlery and all that. I mean, it's such a beautiful farm.
Oh, baby, I love your way every day. Wanna tell you I love your way every day.
Low key, I've never come back from a food excursion hungry. We pulled out of La Spezia a few hours ago, and I mean, the show was amazing, but I started walking and I was like, am I getting dizzy or is the boat swaying? And then I heard a few other people talking about it, so it's definitely swaying a little bit. There is a Latin dance party tonight, and I really wish I was feeling up for it. Know that there are all of these different themed parties on this ship. That is just one of them. And then at Eden, there are a few live performances, and they're doing Smoke and Ivories again tonight. I'm gonna pass out. See you tomorrow! Day 10, we are staying in Civitavecchia. We're staying around the port city. It's actually a really nice walk along the waterfront. If you've been to Rome and you want to kind of just stay by the ship, this is actually a really nice place to just come out and have a little walk. This was my favorite restaurant of the 4 included restaurants. I got the eggplant bruschetta for appetizer, and then for the main course I got the portobello mushroom, and it's actually the vegetarian dish. I'm not vegetarian. It's delicious. It's got tomato sauce, pesto, portobello mushrooms, some basil, just everything that I love. Oh, and also my mom got the T-bone lamb. She's finished all of it, which means very good. She got it medium as recommended. So yeah, definitely check out this one.
Okay, so those who didn't see my show.
Good morning. It is our last port day, and actually it's a tender day, and it's unfortunately looking very rainy today. We have a tour booked for Cinque Terre, which I was so excited about. Alright, I'm gonna go get some breakfast and really hoping this cloud clears up a little bit. In Santa Margherita, we had to take the tender boats again, similar to Nice, France. This usually happens at ports that are too small for the giant cruise ships. The tender boats for the Celebrity Ascent boat are pretty spacious, fully enclosed, and we did not need to wear life jackets. Upon arriving in Santa Margherita, we hopped on our bus to Cinque Terre. I must say, Santa Margherita looks like a beautiful place to walk around and grab some food. The drive to Cinque Terre was beautiful. I always find it so interesting that people actually live in these little clusters on the mountaintops here. The train takes you to all 5 towns. By the way, Cinque Terre literally means 5 lands. We saw quite a few hikers on the trains hopping from one town to the next. Our first stop was Manarola, the town with the postcard photo of Cinque Terre, and actually the moody weather and the waves crashing in made this an extra unique experience, in my opinion. This is pickled cabbage and smoked meat flavor, if you can imagine that in this little pastry. So delicious, so good. Tiniest cup of cappuccino, so cute. Lucky for us, the rain actually held back. I had a delicious slice of focaccia bread with olives. My mom is obsessed with the olives here. We drove past these amazing terrace landscapes for the crops on the side of the mountains, and finally arrived at Monterosso, the largest town in Cinque Terre. We were able to try their olive spread, pesto, olive oil, and white wine. We were told explicitly Cinque Terre is known for white wine, specifically the Chianti grape variety. Along the coast, there are 5 German bunkers from World War II, and 2 of them are actually visible in this photo. Can you see them? The buffet's here. Perfection. Perfecto. final stop on our trip is Barcelona. We decided to stay 2 more days in Barcelona after the cruise because the flight on the weekend was going to be more expensive than staying 2 nights in a hotel in Barcelona and then flying back on a Monday. I didn't vlog as much, but here are a few clips from the beautiful city of Barcelona, and I will definitely be coming back here, hopefully very soon. One more thing, we went to Parc Güell, another Antoni Gaudí creation and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We actually took the bus from our hotel to the park. At first, I was going to grab a taxi, and we tried for a long time and no taxi stopped for us. So my mom said, why don't we take the bus? And she was right. Public transportation is incredibly convenient in Barcelona. I just looked on Google and Google told me which bus to take, and we went directly to most of the tourist areas. Save your money for food. And with that, I am back in Toronto. Unfortunately, all vacations must come to an end, but I really hope this video was helpful for you, especially if you are planning to go on this cruise or have already booked your cruise. Have the most wonderful time. I wish you the best of luck on your vacation. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps to push out this video to more people who might find this helpful. Comment down below if you were on the same cruise as me or if you've already been on it and if you had any tips. Here on this channel, I make a lot of golf content and some travel content like this video, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!